morning. Let me just get the volumes right. Cool. So today we're going to be taking a look at relaxation, or we're going to maybe put a little more focus on relaxation through the movements that we're going to explore. So we're going to start on the floor, and let's just go onto our backs. Lay down on our backs. And arms by the side, legs straight. Take a few deep breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth, or in through the nose and out through the nose, whatever feels best for you. See if you can feel your belly, then your chest, then up into your shoulders and your head. And on the exhale, reverse that. Shoulders come down, chest goes down, and then belly goes down. One more full breath. And let it all go. And just do a check-in, a quick body scan. Feeling the heels on the ground, and the feet, the ankles, the shins, the calves on the ground. Just noticing if one side is pressing down more than the other. Moving up into the knees, the hamstrings, the thighs, up into the pelvis, and noticing the buttocks. Is it square to the spine? Is one side pressing down more than the other? How is it relating to the rib cage and the lower back? Moving up into the lower back, the belly, the sides, up into the solar plexus, the diaphragm. Feeling the sternum, the scapula, collarbones, shoulders, deep in the shoulder socket, the front of the shoulders, the top of the shoulders, the back of the shoulders. Feeling the upper arms, elbows, forearms, hands, fingers. Feeling the throat and the neck. Up into the back of the head. Feeling the jaw, the cheeks, lips, nose, eyes, forehead. And just noticing what you notice. Is everything looking nice and aligned? Is something looking a little bit, feeling like it's off to one side? And it's okay, whatever it is how things are right now. And just letting that be okay. And just slowly bringing the knees up, bending the knees so that your feet are close to your buttocks. I'm going to put another layer on because I'm living in a van. It's almost December, I am cold. I'm not wearing enough layers, so let's get something else on. Excuse me. More layers. Okay. That's better. Right, as we were, bending the knees and just bringing the attention down into the pelvis and specifically the pelvic floor. You can either have your hands by your sides, you can have them behind your head, whatever feels comfortable to you right now. I'm going to have mine down by my sides. And imagining that there is a cross on the bottom of your pelvic floor. So the cross goes horizontally across the perineum. So just in front of the anus. And then vertically down the middle of all of that. Okay, so you've got this cross on the pelvic floor. And I learned this from Eric Cooper. Eric Cooper, Somatics for Everyone. Check his YouTube page out. He does some really, really interesting and creative somatics exercises on his page, and I highly recommend him. I've learned a lot from him. So just bringing awareness to that cross. And we're going to tackle these 4 quadrants. So first of all, we're just going to, so if you start to tilt your pelvis so that your lower back comes off the ground. And then when you've reached that full position, pull up your pelvic floor. So clench your anus and your perineum and the cervix for women. And then slowly coming out that, maintaining the upheld pelvic floor. We're going to slowly come out of the arched back. Maintaining, keeping that pelvic floor as it held. And then slowly, once we've reached the end, slowly release the pelvic floor. Do that again, arching the lower back and just noticing which half. So is it the bottom half or the top half that's coming more online for you? So once you're in that arch, pulling up the pelvic floor, just noticing which front or back half is it that is getting activated in that position. For me, it's the back half, the lower half. And then slowly coming out of that, maintaining the tone in the pelvic floor. Slowly coming out of that movement to a neutral spine. Holding the pelvic floor there for a moment. And then slowly releasing the pelvic floor. Nice. Seeing how slow you can do it. Maintaining control of the pelvic floor. So learning how to come into and out of tension. Right, now we're going to try the other way. So this time, tilt your pelvis so that your lower back presses against the floor. So if we had headlights on our buttocks, they'd be pointing down. So just enough to feel, without strain, Just enough to feel like you're flattening that lower back and creating that tilt. Now pull up the pelvic floor and notice what you notice. Which half is more active in this position? Right, maintaining that hold, we're going to come out of that pelvic tilt to a neutral spine, and then slowly releasing. You can reset the breath at the bottom. And again, tilting the pelvis, flattening the lower back, pulling up the pelvic floor, maintaining hold of the pelvic floor, and coming out of the tilt whilst maintaining the hold, and then slowly, as slow as possible, letting go of the tone in the pelvic floor. Nice. So that's front and back. Let's tackle this plane. So we've got this middle line that comes down through here, the vertical line. Let's bring our right hip and our right armpit together. Let's close that angle. Allow the head to kind of be dragged across the floor. Or not dragged, but you feel the drag on the back of the head. Closing that side. Now pull up the pelvic floor. And then maintaining that tone, we're going to come out of it. It's not a big movement, but it's enough to feel activated. And then slowly, once you've reached your midline, just slowly release that pelvic floor. And again, bringing armpit and right armpit and right hip towards one another. Pulling up the pelvic floor. And then slowly coming out of the movement, maintaining tone in the pelvic floor. And then slowly releasing that pelvic floor. All right. Now, other side. Left hip. So if you had a belt loop on the side of your trousers, that's going to move up. That side belt loop moves up towards the left armpit. And you'll feel your shoulder, the left shoulder drop and the left hip hike. And you'll feel a little sort of stretch on the back of the neck maybe. Pull up the pelvic floor. And then slowly coming out of the movement, maintaining tone in the pelvic floor. Back to central. Hold for a second. And then release as slowly as possible, pelvic floor. Alright, last one. Left belt loop, left side belt loop, moving towards left armpit, closing the angle between the ribs and the pelvis. Pull up the pelvic floor, good and strong. Maintain that tone, releasing the side bend. Coming back to neutral, maintaining that tone for a second, and then slowly releasing. Nice. Take a couple of breaths just to reset the nervous system. Right, we're going to come into, we're going to maintain this position on the floor with the knees bent. Place it, hands behind the head if they're not already there. And we're going to put our attention into the rib cage. So center of the sternum, maybe the front of the shoulders, wherever you just see if you can take a breath into this area and identify where the breath is kind of like meeting tension. So wherever the breath bumps up against, see if you can identify that and bring that into your awareness. So take a breath or two here. This morning I'm feeling some tension up in the sort of fronts of the shoulders and into the sockets of the shoulders, and also in the sternum here. So another breath. Okay, and on this breath, we're going to inhale into those areas, and then we're going to lift our elbows to the sky on an exhale, and we're going to tighten those places. We're actually going to make them even tighter. And then slowly we're going to come out of that. Really nice and slow. The head is supported by the hands. We're just going to move, like bringing our attention to those tight areas, and we're going to teach our body how to come out of them. We're going to educate the nervous system how to come out of that depressed habit. Okay, once we reach the floor, breathe into those spaces again and contract them as you come up. I'm not doing a sit-up, but I'm lifting the torso, I'm lifting the rib cage, and I'm tightening those areas. This time we're going to take 12 seconds to come out. 12, 11, 10. Breathing cycles if you need to. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Steps if you like. 2, 1. And then just melting on the floor. Take a breath to reset. Feeling the places where the breath it meets the tension, and noticing, is there a sense of relief there? Is there a sense of opening? Right, on this breath, we're going to do one more. Closing up. Squeezing that tension. And then inhaling, coming up. Coming out of it. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Pause. Come back into it a little bit. And then come out. Go a little lower than where we paused last time. And then come back up a little bit. No strain in the neck's being held. And then coming out and then up a little bit more. We're almost like dog toothing it up and down. And then like a ratchet. And just allow that to melt away. Imagine your ice cream on a hot summer's day that's fallen on the ground. We're just melting into the concrete. Ah, yes. Visualizing a hot summer's day in late November in North Wales. Certainly could do with a little bit of that warmth. Got a little issue with my wood-burning stove. In the process of inviting a new one into my life. All right. So now we're gonna staying on the ground. We're gonna bring our attention into the legs. So we've woken up the pelvis a little bit. Now we want to. Now I want to explore some draining. So let's see if I can get a little bit of a better angle so you can see my legs. I wonder if that's going to be. My setup is obviously in a confined space. Oh, that's a bit better, I suppose. So it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to be able to see me perfectly, but hopefully my words will inform you of my experience. So bringing our attention into the legs, we're going to play around with some draining. So trying to find some effortless movement in our legs. So straighten the legs out. We're going to let's do the right leg first. I'm going to move over here so I've got a little bit more space to move my right leg. Out of the way. So I'm going to make contact with the left leg with the ground. So almost sort of like as I lift my right leg up, the left leg sort of pushes down a little bit so that the weight of the right leg can find its way into the ground. And so just with a bent leg, just lifting that up and then dropping it down again. I'm going to do that a few times just to get a sense of how we can lift effortlessly. The hip behind the leg, so of the right leg, is pressed into the ground. We're just going to lift it up at a few different angles. Just gently relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the jaw. A little bit of tone in the abs, a little bit of tone in the pelvic floor. And then finding different angles. And on this one, we're going to lift up. And we're going to create the sense that there is sand draining down through the legs into the ground. We're going to explore the hip, maybe straightening the leg a little bit, maybe sending it out to the side, maybe crossing the body a little bit, crossing over the other leg, and just go at your own pace, and that you're feeling like what body part wants to press into the ground, and bringing attention to that whole relationship between the weight of the leg, allowing it to be as effortless as possible, allowing as little tension in the body as possible, like only the things that need to be involved are involved in the movement. And just exploring. Maybe coming out to the side as wide as possible. Just with a straight leg. How does that feel? What does it feel like when you cross the body? Start to go a little bit off-piste with it. Start to extend your comfort zone. Maintaining or staying away from anything that's pinching or painful. Pain is counterproductive, but we want a little discomfort. We want a little, because that's where adaptation happens. That's where the the tissues and the structures begin to adapt to new stimulus. Nice. All right, let's drop that now. Take a breath. Moving over here so that I've got a bit more space for my left leg. And now we're going to play around with the left leg. So see how little effort you can use to lift that leg. Let that leg be heavy. Let that leg be as heavy as possible. The heavier you allow it to be, the more effortless the movement. And just exploring the boundaries of where it's sort of maybe there's some discomfort, but not going deep into that discomfort. Just around that edge. It's almost like a satisfying. It's like a little scary. It's like oh, there's something there. There's like some sensations there that I generally avoid, but just before that really like scary bit is a little bit of satisfaction, a little bit of relief or release. See if you can find that edge. For me, over here, when I'm over here, there's like a bit in my left hip that's a little bit scared, but I'm just dancing around the edge of that. Remembering to relax the jaw and the shoulders and the sternum, like the ribs, keeping a little tone in the lower belly, and just finding that effortless movement. Maybe some ankle circles. Nice. And just bringing the feet, well, actually, yeah, let's have the legs long. And just check in. What do you feel? Take a deep breath. And just moving your way up the body, noticing the contact with the ground. Noticing if there's any difference from when you scanned it before. For me, before I do movement, generally my pelvis and my hips feel like they're like out of sync with one another. I don't know if that's actually the case, but when I scan my body, they feel that way sometimes. And this morning, since moving the legs and the pelvis and the rib cage, that feels a lot more in alignment. I'm just looking down my body and I can feel like my head, torso and pelvis are more or less stacked. So just notice what you notice. Maybe there's no difference, and that's okay too. Is one side pressing more down than the other? Has that evened up? Just gathering data. And we're just going to roll over to one side onto our hands and knees. And let's see, which way shall I face? We'll just do some cat-cows. Let's do some cat-cows. So, inhale, arching the back, pushing the palms towards the knees. And then exhale, pushing the knees and palms away from one another. Inhale, opening the chest. And exhale, closing, opening the spine. Let the pelvic floor be involved in the movement. Move at your own pace, with your own breath. Bringing the back of the skull and the tailbone together in the inhale, and then bringing the tailbone and the nose together on the exhale. And on this round, just come back to neutral, and then we're gonna look over our right shoulder. So inhale in the middle, and then exhale, look over the right shoulder and hike the right hip. You don't have to necessarily see it, but it's just sending that side bend in the spine. Inhale in the middle, and then exhale to the left, hiking that left hip and looking down towards the left shoulder. Bringing the armpit and hip together. And bringing Kegels into it. So inhale in the middle, and then exhale, hiking that hip and doing a little, like activating the right side of your cross on your pelvic floor. And then the left side. And then letting it go in the middle. Nice. Now, we're going to come into, we're just going to come onto our heels, so sitting back onto the heels. Change my angle a little bit. Coming back onto the heels. We're going to, if you need to grab hold of something, grab hold of a chair or something like that, we're just going to rock onto our ankles like that. We're going to do that a couple of times. Just gently rocking onto our knees and then onto our heels. So rocking those ankles. If you've got it in you, you can also do it no hands. A little bit more toe activation that way. Ooh, it's a little trickier. But if you need to hold on to something, please do. Or you could like just maybe hold on to one thing, or just have some place that you can reference. That really helps, just having one spot that you can help that wobble. Nice. All right. And then coming into a slightly wider squat, just rocking the ankles a little bit, exploring gently, staying away from any pain. Shifting the weight onto one ankle, lifting that heel. My heel is lifted there, and then it's lifted there, and that heel goes on the floor. All right, coming back into our wide squat. Imagine we're a candle, and it's a hot summer's day, and we're being pulled up by our wick, but our body is the wax, and it's just dripping off of the wick, sliding off of the wick, draining down. So feel that wick, and we're going to be pulled up by the wick, melting into the ground. Nice. Coming back down again. And again, just allowing everything to melt, like the shoulders to drop, the chest, the scapula, everything melts down into the feet. All right, do a couple more of those. So there shouldn't be any strain in the shoulders, any tension in the jaw. Arms should be completely loose. Nice. Let's get some daylight in here. The sun is finally coming up. Okay. Now we're going to challenge you a little bit, and challenge myself a little bit as well. So coming back down into our low squat, we're going to come up a little bit, and we're going to hold it for 5 seconds, and then we're going to come up a little bit and hold it for 5 seconds, and then come up a little bit, hold it for 5 seconds, and then we're going to stand up. All right, so a little bit of a challenge for the knees. All right, and we're going to do our melting candle. If we can do those two things at once, try it. So coming up, pause. Coming up a couple of inches, pause. A couple of inches, pause. And then standing up. All right, nice. From the side. Now, bring your attention to the 3 bodyweight centers. We've got the pelvis, the ribcage, and the head. So just be aware of those 3 bodyweight centers in a dynamic relationship with one another. I'm going to come down into our squat. I'm going to come up a couple of inches. Pause. And then we're going to come up. We're going to send the pelvis forward so that it kind of gets underneath the rib cage. Pause. And then we're going to send the pelvis forward again. So it's almost like the pelvis moving forward is what's lifting us. And then we're going to stand up. So I'm not just sort of like, standing up like that. I'm sending my pelvis forward over the feet so that it gets between the rib cage and the upper body. It might be stimulating all kinds of things in weird ways that you're not used to, but it is the most efficient way of moving. And so once your body can learn it, actually it's a lot less strain on the muscles and joints in the body. All right, so we're going to do that one more time. Coming up, pausing for 5 seconds, sending the pelvis forward a little bit, pausing for 5 seconds, and then a little bit more, pausing, and then standing up. Nice. All right, let's get this in another position. Right. Now, let's do some arms. Let's wake the arms up, the shoulders up. So just doing some nice shoulder circles. And reverse direction. I put my hand on my chest just for a little bit of feedback. And I'm not fully like I'm not creating lots of movement in the chest. It's I'm keeping it fairly square forward. All right, nice. Let's do the other side. This one has a little less range of motion than the other one. So you'll see it's more out to the side, and that's okay. That's just where I'm at today. Just being gentle, staying away from any pinching pain. Finding that edge where it's maybe a little uncomfortable, but a slight sense of satisfaction there. Nice. Now, bringing the arms up. Imagine that the arms are like ropes, and those ropes are going out all the way to the horizon, and they go all the way to the horizon, and they come down the back of the shoulder, and then they attach into the lower back. So these ropes come from the lower back up through the shoulders, out to the hands, out of the hands to the horizon. Okay, so feel what that feels like. Feel what that feels like down the back. You've got these ropes, and they're so long, and so there's like a density there, almost like you're moving through clay. So that you'll notice like what happens in the lower back when you attach your arms to that space. What happens in the abdomen, in the lower abs? And be creative. Take them for a ride, these ropes. Let's put on something. How long we got? Okay, let's play around with this for a moment. Keep going. Keep going. Keep that visualization to the horizon. Attach to the lower back. Okay, now maintaining that awareness, maintaining the awareness of the low spine attached to the arms like ropes. Bring your attention down into the feet, into the hips and legs, and how much can you see? Remember our draining legs? Let's play around with that. Let's see if we can do that and balance. So shifting the weight onto one leg and then lifting the other leg, and like it can be as small a movement as you can maintain your balance with and maintain like your awareness with. Okay, so we're going to do, let's see if I can see this. So we're going to do figure of eight. So if your right leg is the floating leg, we're just going to do a figure of eight with turning the hip in and out. So the hip moves in and out. And the foot is active. The foot that's on the floor is active. It's twisting and turning to create the movement. The movement is driven by this leg. The figure of eight movement. Nice. All right. And then shifting over to the other leg. Can you bring the arms in? Right, now shifting over to the other leg and just be free with it. Just explore wherever you want to go. Have fun with it. Can you hinge at the hips? Keeping a soft bend in the standing leg, in the knee. Remembering the arms. Just change legs whenever you feel. Arms like ropes to the horizon. Nice. Now just move, dance, explore the body, explore the spine. Confined spaces. Moving in a confined space. Do some spinal waves. We woke up the spine earlier on. We did side bends, we did forward and backward bends. Let's integrate that with all the hip work and arm work we've done. Bring it all together. What else did we explore? Pelvic floor. How can we involve the pelvic floor in the movement? And the lower abs. Arms attached to the lower back. draining the legs. We did elbows to the sky. So we came into a depressed movement and we learned to come out of it. Just explore all the things that we did. What can you remember? How can you bring it all together? How can you bring it all into a whole body exploration? Nice. Keep going. Okay. And just coming into standing. Checking in with the body. Inhaling. Fingers go down to come up. And then it's roughly when the hands reach around about shoulder height, or maybe a little bit higher. Just put a pause there. And the hands are slightly in front of the body. It's like I'm holding a big beach ball. All right. Fingers are active, like pine needles. Okay. Tension in the feet. Feeling the feet are very alive. Tingling, heavy. Tension in the knees. Slight bend in the knees. Pressing into the heels. Tension in the center, the pelvic girdle like a bowl, catching the bottom of the breath, and then the diaphragm containing that like a pressure chamber. The tension moving up into the rib cage. Noticing the relationship between the rib cage and the pelvis. Just tucking the tailbone down a little bit, like to flatten the lower back, to open the lower back a little bit. Stacking and like just rotating the rib cage slightly upwards. Feeling like the shoulders are melting, like chocolate fondue. The hands stay high, but the shoulders are feel like they're dropping down into our center and then into the ground, into the feet. Scapula melting. Fingers active. Tailbone down like it's being pulled down by an anchor. Two silk strings coming out of the back of the ear. There's like a little nodule there, there's a little bump, and underneath that bump there's a soft bit of tissue with the back of the jaw. Imagine 2 silk strings pulling up from there to the skies, and then a third one coming out from the crown. So just, you can place your finger in each of these 3 spots just to bring some sensitivity to the area, and then allow that to pull up as the shoulders melt. So you'll feel like some distance between the head and the shoulders then start to emerge gently, and the pelvis is still being pulled down. So you've got this opposing forces. And just always in a dance, the pelvis, the rib cage, the head, always in like a dynamic relationship. Nothing's ever braced or held. There's always a little bit of something going on, a little bit of movement. And then obviously the knees and the ankles as well, they are in a dynamic relationship with the pelvis. Just feeling that, just maybe exploring the edges of it, sending the pelvis in a little circle. If you need to reset your arms, reset your arms. Bring them back. And then inhale. And drop the arms. Swing, swing, swing. Inhale. And then swing, swing, swing. I'm bouncing with my knees as well. Like everything is bouncing. So we'll do one more like this. And then bounce, bounce. My knees, you probably can't see very well, but my knees are bending and I'm bouncing and my spine is flexing. My head is moving forwards and backwards. Nice. All right, shake that out. Shake out the leg. All the way down to the ankle. Shake out the other leg. Shake out the arms, wrists, pelvis, shoulders, elbows. Shake the head. Shake the whole body. Shake those knees. Do some Elvis stuff. Elvis business. Uh-huh. Shake it out. Shake that spine. Nice. All right. Well, thank you for practicing with me. If you want to join me for classes in the future, take a look at my website. Look at the classes page on my website, gusreid.com. That's GUSREID.com. Check it out. Come join me. The classes are free to join. At the moment, I'm doing 3 a week. And I'm doing it for the love of movement and the love of teaching. So I would be honored if you would join me for morning practice or afternoon practice if I start to do those. And wishing you a beautiful day.